started.
Okay. Testing, testing. I mean, can you hear me now?
Oh, way worse than before.
Oh, shit, man. I'm gonna try something. Hang on.
No problem. I mean, we're live already, but for those who are not aware, we're setting up. So, give us some time. It'll take a bit until the podcast actually starts. Well, the podcast it'll be more of a conversation, and if we can call it a podcast, then better. And if it doesn't, it's okay. Uh, okay. So, speaking of, let me see if I can actually check for the live real quick. What the hell is this? Yeah, I have no clue right now.
How about this one?
Oh, way better. Oh yeah. Now that's good.
Way better?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alrighty. Good, 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 good. So maybe I'll get a link from you so that I can at least invite more people to listen to our conversation
Sure,
so
sure.
we have more viewers.
I mean, look, I was planning to do a video in the first place, but if you want, then for sure. Give me a moment. I'll send you the link real quick. So this is the link. And
Yeah, because some of my friends like to, do some shorts while listening and shit.
yeah, no problem, no problem. So I'll ping everyone too. This here. Otherwise, okay, there you go. Everyone is pinged. Fuck you all. There you go, dude. Easy.
Alrighty. Can you give me just a few moments to like promote this? Let me just post this on IG and perhaps Facebook, and I'll let my friends know.
Yeah, yeah.
Hang on for a bit.
Sure, sure. Just do whatever you need. I mean, it's not like we're on a time constraint right now, so yes, sure, sure. Go ahead. Well, while we wait, I'll put some funny music. Relaxing music, of course. well, while we keep waiting, welcome to the podcast, by the way, those who are online. Episode 1 does not exist because it is cursed, but I assure you, I'll start uploading new ones from now on. I'll probably invite personalities of the visual novel community, so if you have any ideas, but by the way, just tell me, because I'm running out of them. I have already a list of people who are willing to join at some point, but little by little. I'm sorry about the lack of updates of the Casino Boy. Just I barely have time to work on it, and personally I couldn't give less of a shit. I was working on it right now. So yeah, we're chilling, dude. This is also, by the way, the stream version, because I wasn't planning to make a stream out of this, but it's better to have a stream than nothing. And I'll probably upload a video later down the line. Well, not probably, I will definitely upload a video later down the line, and that will be better edited. It'll have extra content, it'll have attached previews of the translation of Tsukikana, because fortunately they were nice enough to give me access to a video showcasing some of the work. But yeah, if you want to wait for that video version, it's gonna take a while, maybe a couple months, or maybe a month, let's say, because I'm not the best at video editing. I have limited comprehension. It's not like editing podcasts is too difficult, though, right, guys? Right? Who is talking? It's me, B. Welcome, Christian, to another banger by Daybreak Translations. And by another, I mean the first banger. Episode 2, by the way. We don't talk about episode 1. But yeah, I am B. I am the main translator of Daybreak. Waiting right now for our guest to set up, because she's doing, I don't know what she's doing, but she's setting up basically. So until then, we're chilling, dude. Sounds good, yeah, no problem, Christian. We'll be online in a bit, so just bear with us for the moment. Hopefully it won't take much longer to set up. In fact, I wonder if you can actually cut parts of the live recordings later down the line when they get uploaded. I'm gonna assume that's not the case, but still. Fortunate how you decide to go shopping just as you saw a podcast. Damn, dude. Well, it's okay. We're still setting up, so and the podcast / whatever this is will last an hour and a half, maybe. It'll be interesting. I'm sure the technical issues will be too long. True, though. It's okay, Zach. You will be able to appreciate the podcast later down the line. I'm gonna make a video version with better graphics, sound quality, yada 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 yada. But it's gonna take me like a month or two because work. gonna make my voice sound soothing, for the masses. Damn, we only got 1 like in the video. Insane. I think you can release the video and edit re-upload. Really? Okay. Well, that sounds interesting. I'll definitely do that because this, the technical issues are gonna last a bit apparently as far as I'm seeing. So well, I should have started the stream later, but it's okay. Also, yeah, if you guys want me to touch certain topics with the guest, by all means, I'm open. I'm reading the chat. Yeah, another Christian. 2 Christians in the chat. Hello, Christian too. So yeah, if you guys want me to talk about whatever topics with the guest, by all means ask. We'll be having a nice conversation. So. I mainly, since I mainly talk about translation though of visual novels, so the content we'll be talking about is probably a little restricted, but taking that aside, if you find that interesting, by all means, there'll probably be some shit talk to at some point, so as per usual. Yeah, maybe it's an alt personality. That's the first question. Hello.
Hello, I'm so sorry for that. Thank you for waiting, guys.
No problem, man. No problem. No, we were just chilling it out.
What did I miss so far? I heard something about 2 Christians or something.
Oh, nothing. I was just talking while people were waiting, so it's fine. This part I'll probably cut it off. Apparently you can't edit the lives, so I'll probably cut the first the first minutes.
Alright.
We're just idly waiting. So let me just put the music.
Okay.
Real quick. There you go.
So, apologies to everyone, and thank you for waiting. Thank you also for having me here in your podcast, Barry.
I mean, no problem. You're technically the first guest we're having because we had an episode 1 done last October, but it was really bad. Like, the thing is, it's been in editing hell since October, and yeah, ever since then, we haven't really touched it or anything else. So I was like, you know what? How about I do an episode 2 and just send episode 1 to the trash can and you can repeat it another day. So here we are.
And I'm your first guest. That's insane. Thank you for having me.
No problem. It's not like we're the most popular group out there, so it was. You have your specific audience,
Yeah.
but it'll be different for sure. I mean, I know some people are some people listening in are friends of mine who or people who will listen.
Oh,
are friends
nice.
of mine who knows about this shit. So yeah. So I mean, look.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to make this like a job interview because that's not this. We'll talk about whatever. I'll try to steer the conversation into certain avenues as per usual because that's where I know what to talk about and how to talk about it. But apart from that, it's just whatever. I've actually seen the preview that you sent me. I'll add it in the video version, okay? Because in the stream version it's going to be a little bit difficult.
Alright.
Yeah, it'll be the incentive for people to watch the video version instead of the stream. But I mean, in the end, they can do whatever they want.
Yep.
Don't know how you have the energy to translate Cloneworks games. I enjoy them, but I usually play a route, then take a break for months before I play another route just because of the length. True. Yeah, that's actually one of the questions. These games, man, they're very long. Yours in particular, it has when something has over 1 million characters threshold. I think it's way too long for a single person to do. But you're practically the only person working on that, right? Right now in the translating, I mean.
Actually, I have 2 translators right now. I think that was around January. I stopped for a bit because I had to study a bit, and then it was the other person that has taken over the project. But right now, it's back to me who's translating the VN. So actually, we'll be needing more people soon because it really is a big project. So I can't really do it alone. I mean, it's gonna take more time if I just do it alone.
But what do you want to do? Like, is the plan to do routes per one route per translator, or what exactly? Because I'm not following.
Maybe look for more translators who can help us out and
Um,
see from there what we'll do in the future. But yeah, right now everything's still ongoing. Actually, we're just not really what do you call this? We're just not really posting updates that much, but behind the scenes, translation is still in progress.
yeah, I mean, look, it's actually difficult to even get in your server. You know, because the only way I could find to get there is asking someone who is already there to send me an invite, right? Uh, the BNDB link is broken,
Yeah, that's right.
right? So it's almost impossible to follow up. So there's actually been people, asking if your people are alive or not.
Mm.
So just
Mm-mm,
at
mm-mm.
least update the basic links if you can, because that way, I'm sure a
Mm.
lot of people want to join the server and follow what you're doing. It's just that it's almost impossible. Personally, for
I
example,
understand.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Mm.
actually I had to ask a friend of mine to give me an invite because the last one, like
Oh,
impossible to find. It's literally impossible to find a link unless
okay.
someone is inside already.
Alrighty. Well, first of all, I would like to apologize to everyone who's been having difficulty in accessing our Discord server. I'll be bringing that up to our leader, Artikunda, and I'll let him know. Maybe we should do like a quick update for everyone, 4chan, Reddit, or wherever, or Facebook even, and here on Discord, so that we could give some updated links. I'm not really sure if you can really turn Discord service into a public one, but if people are having difficulty just because of the invites, then maybe we'll go and try and see something if there's something we can do about it. But regarding a website, for now, we're just sticking to Discord because I noticed that a lot of the translators, I mean, you and the other guys that were with me on the other podcast, you guys are just sticking to Discord. I don't want to go to Twitter.
Oh
Twitter is
no, no.
scary, so I think
Yeah,
I,
Twitter's a waste of time. We have a
I
website
can't.
actually, and that's where most of our
Oh,
people
really?
come from. Yeah, 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 we do. That's where people come
I
from.
mean, isn't it a hassle to like update the website and stuff? So
No,
how is it for you guys?
I mean, look, it's just whenever you feel like it. You don't need to keep it updated all the time.
Mm,
I keep it updated quite a bit personally, but that's because when I
mhm.
go back home, I like to look at it and see the stats and change whatever needs to be changed. But
Ah,
um, at least the people who are here, just for context, we are in the Daybreak server right now, so talking. So the people who are here, 99% come because of the custom link that is attached to the website. There's no other reason.
mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yeah, so I mean,
I
even though
see, I see.
you don't even need to keep the website updated, it's just like as long as you have a basic setup and then the link to Discord or whatever, then you're set up. That way, even the
All right,
other, yeah, BNTB can catch it up. And if BNTB catches it up, then most people will be redirected to your website through BNTB or to the Discord directly from there. It's either
I
that or,
see.
yes, so either
Yeah,
website or
yeah.
BNTB.
Gotcha. I'll let the others know and also check if there's at least someone who knows how to build a website, or I don't know, use a template, and maybe we can set up something simple so that uh, all the links are there, all of the
Yeah.
information like the Discord server and screenshots and whatnot. And that's a good idea. Thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. I mean, it's the best way to keep people interested, because people are interested, at least as far as I'm aware.
I, I think that's better than Twitter, a
Yeah.
website.
Sakamot says the
All
only
right.
reason to have a site is that BNTS will check you versus a Discord channel, they're boomers. I don't know how much they check Discord, they definitely don't check Twitter. I mean, true, but the website, I
Yeah,
don't know. We have a lot of visitors in the website too. It's not just for BNTS, man. I mean, it really depends on how
I
updated you keep it
see.
up. Majority of our activity is obviously on Discord because we have live activity every day. But the website has
Oh,
a high average of visits
yeah,
every day.
yeah.
So I'm telling you, like it depends.
Amazing. I,
Yeah,
I didn't know the community was that active, because to me, like, right now, I still think that the visual novel fandom is very niche. But I didn't know, like, when we were invited to the Indonesian podcast, I was so amazed that there were a lot of visual novel fans in there because we really just keep to ourselves with Hoshi Works. We don't really, mingle with the others. So I was like, okay, that's really an eye opener for me. That okay, there are a lot of fans from here and there. Like, that's amazing. I never even knew that there were other people from the Philippines who were also doing project like translating visual novels.
are
So that was
there?
really fun.
Oh, I'm assuming that's the people you're working with are now. Yeah.
No, no, no. There was this one dude who was with us in the Indonesian podcast who was also from the Philippines. I
Oh, really?
just can't remember.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Oh God, Kapu, yeah, that guy called Kapu.
I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There,
There's no other way
there was this
because
one guy there.
Poison Pie
The
is
one who's working
Australian.
solo.
Yeah, Poison Pie is
The one
Australian.
who's working solo. Hmm.
All of us are working solo. At least the ones who attended that podcast. All of us are solo. As far. Oh, you mean solo?
Oh,
Absolutely no teammates. Oh yeah, then it's Kapu for sure.
oh.
100% Kapu. Yeah, yeah.
I, because I remember you mentioned that you were working with the team, so
Yeah, yeah, no. I thought you meant solo as in solo translator, but no, no.
mm,
Okay, okay. I get it now. Yes.
mm,
You mean Kapu.
gotcha,
I didn't know Kapu was from there. Well, there you
gotcha,
go. You can use a blog. Most
gotcha.
people do that. Okay, I need to actually. Yeah, Zach. See you later, dude. And hi there, Raika. Another guest from for the podcast. Well, podcast is just conversation. But yeah, if you want, I'll show you the stats later on the website. I'm telling you, it's very useful to give you notoriety. Especially, I mean, take advantage. The project you are doing is popular, man. That company is what everyone wants things translated from. So there you go. God, I remember even there were articles made in some websites about the Reddit thread and everything. I'll need to
Mm-hmm.
check it up later, but there were articles made back in the day. I mean, that actually ties. Is this your first project at all? I do wonder. Is this the first visual novel
Uh,
you've worked on?
yeah, actually,
Really?
it is my first visual novel.
What?
Yeah.
No, call me
What?
surprised.
How do I even explain it? I really one of the reasons why I studied Japanese was because I wanted to translate games, specifically visual novels, so that more people can play some of the stories that are not likely to be translated, or even JRPG. So it's more like I want to translate VMs and also JRPGs because those are the two genres that I love the most.
Okay. Actually, that makes me wonder though. I actually know a couple of other female translators who used to work slash currently work on things, not professionally. I mean, because
Mm-hmm.
professionally is another matter, right? But um,
Yeah, yeah.
most of them are from the Indonesian zone, and they work exclusively
Really?
on otomege. They work on BL games. They work on things related to those. What made you decide to go to the male or male dominated space, like the visual novels made
Mm.
for filthy men
Mm-hmm.
like me?
Filthy, man. I don't think you guys are filthy.
I'm just
Well,
doing the
that's a
funny meme. Just doing the funny meme.
well. I think that that's a very good question because um, actually a lot of my hobbies, collecting figurines, watching anime, the usual geeky stuff, playing games, reading visual novels, and a lot of them are very male centric. I'm kind of used to hanging out with the guys. And
Oh,
when it comes to genre, I mean, I bat for both teams, but when it comes to like the deeper stories or stories that I'm more interested in general, like the mystery or the what they call this Ryukishi's works. all of them really have male protagonists, so I just really steer more into those types of stories. I haven't really dabbled into things like Yuri or the reverse harem or the shoujo, but I actually would love to, since I've been playing nothing but high school setting or male protagonist. So I would also like to see how like the writing, the story, the characters are for the other genres in the visual novel world.
Oh yeah, I mean, Otomega are super cool. At least, I've read a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could read more, but I'm just not cultured enough to know which games are super good or not. I have a vague idea of what is good or what is not, right? And
Mm. Maybe you could recommend some.
yeah, yeah, I can recommend a couple later, but
Nice.
it's
Yeah.
Kenga Kimi, for example. Kenga Kimi is like a good example of what a good otome. I think it was Kenga Kimi. I'm not very sure right now, but I'm pretty sure it was that. That's one of the best, if I remember correctly.
Really.
Yeah, let me check
Eh,
real quick
Otome
because.
has like the best artwork, so I really want to try them out soon because I have nothing but well the science adventures, the type moons, the usual stuff.
Oh well, then yeah, that's more for general public, right? But well, they call
Yeah,
it
yeah.
otomege made for women, but I'd actually argue that most of otomege have deeper stories than male centric visual novels. But hey, I mean,
Really now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
At least it has more variety. Though, even if you are tired of seeing
Mm.
school settings in male visual novels, for example,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
you will get tired of seeing classical Japan settings in Otomege. So,
So it it's a good thing that you mentioned classical Japan. I think one of the reasons why I also steered away with the Otomege is because I'm not really into the classical Japan side of things. I didn't even watch Rurouni Kenshin. I didn't watch Inuyasha because they're very much like that. I don't know why. It's just I'm really just used to like the typical fantasy, high fantasy, the knights, the castles from the Final Fantasies as well. So I guess that's another factor. That's why I didn't really had a chance to play
oh,
Otomege. But I there are some I'm interested in. If you're familiar with Buried Stars,
then
Buried Stars, I think was the title.
we can look it up later. But
Uh,
but you were interested
yeah,
in that, yeah? Well, I sent you the link. I'll actually send it through the stream as well if people are interested to know.
thank you.
This is Kenga Kimi.
Alrighty.
Kenga Kimi, as far as I'm aware, is considered Kamige in Otome game circles.
Amiga, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
anything made by this company, Reject, is super good.
Uh huh.
I've read a couple of the
Oh shit.
releases. Yeah, yeah, Reject is super nice. You should definitely give it a try.
Nice.
And they only
How would you?
do
How would
Otomege.
you like?
So,
Oh, how would you like? Uh, rate how long their works are. Are they anything under 30 hours to complete or?
yeah, I mean, it really depends. Some of them are short, some of them are long. Although, in my
Hmm. All
experience,
right.
Reject games tend to be 50 hours plus, all of them. So,
50.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
long, huh?
Yeah, be ready to spend time if you are willing to go for that.
Oh well, I've been doing nothing but raiding. It's fine. All right. Thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah, anything made by that company is good. A shame Reject is kind of a racist company, but nothing new in Japanese visual novel companies when it comes to that, so it's fine.
Oh man. Well, that's
Yeah,
sad to hear when you hear that the bad side of the company, but their works are just so good. Yeah.
yeah, just ignore their what they
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they
yeah.
think of Western values or anything at all, anything that's outside their country, and we're fine. But yeah, highly recommended. Uh, you know,
Thank you.
uh, uh, women that actually work on these kinds of games, I only know two, you and Pomelo, and that's it. Pomelo used to be an editor I work with. Now works professionally,
Amazing.
but she
Oh
was
man.
yeah, yeah, she was very fucking
I
good. I'm telling you.
I I want to work professionally. I'm actually
Oh, you do?
one of the reasons why I'm fan translating right now is because I wanna eventually like at least have a grasp of what to do when translating stuff. I know what we're doing right now is very not streamlined because it's not there's no big company to guide us and whatnot. But eventually, like, I want to try applying to some of the localization teams, manga, whatever, anime, game, whatever. I just really want to get into translating stuff.
Oh, interesting. I mean, look, it's difficult. You need to spend a lot of hours because I sure did, but you can get to that level. You just need to spend too much time into doing these kinds of things, and also assume you're going to get through people abusing your work, and that's how it's gonna be. As for the streamline thing, don't think that companies work too differently from fan translation groups. In fact, I think the only difference is that you have a deadline, whereas when you're working on these kinds of games by yourself, you
Really
don't.
now.
So,
I see.
well, yeah, I mean, you just have deadlines, and deadlines tend to be a little tight. But leaving that aside, if you're willing to go for it, then by all means, just I'd say, if anything, just get to writing fast. Start writing faster,
Mm-hmm.
and time the amount of lines you do per hour, and from there
Mm-hmm.
you can get better, or not. I don't know. Like, you probably need someone better than you to actually correct your mistakes or where you're lacking. Otherwise, it's gonna be a little difficult to get to that level. You can. It's just that you
Mm-hmm.
need extra hours, whereas other people would not.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's in any case, working professionally has its ups and downs. You'll probably eventually, since you eventually will reach that point, you'll eventually see the difference where, it's good to
Mm-hmm.
have all the time in the world, but at the same time it isn't, because you elongate projects for an eternity. I mean, I don't know, just look at
Yeah.
what was the latest project that released. I think it was one of the Otome. No, it wasn't an Otome game. It was Shinko Hinemuso. There you go. That released recently. And how long has it been since it started? Like 10 years or more, for sure. More than 10 years, right? So
Oh man, really?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that game is a
I-
behemoth, though. It's 100,000 lines and over 2 million
Oh shit.
characters. Yeah, yeah. It's an absolute
Oh my
behemoth.
god.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It's
there's also this one visual novel that I've been waiting for years. I think it was Eyoku no Yusha. I
Eustia.
don't think
Oh,
it has a yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, it's been how many years? I actually forgot about it. And then when my brother told me, it was like they were nearing its completion, and but right now it's still not done. So I'm like, oh god, how big is that game? So
yeah.
yeah, I do understand.
It's been 6 years since the project started, I think. 6 or 7. God, I still
Oh my
remember when it
god,
came
six
out.
years.
Yeah, it started in
Mhm.
2016, I think. It was something along those lines.
Yeah.
Because the guy, Epilitswitz, I think, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but in the internet, in Fua Novel, he was
Mhm.
Epilitswitz or whatever. He announced that. And I remember
Mhm.
everyone went crazy, like, nah, dude, you're not finishing or whatever. He finished after like 2 years, let's say. He took 2 years to finish. And then
Oh
ever since
yes.
then, they're doing this meme where they're apparently inserting line by line the script, so it's gonna take an eternity. Well, they claimed it'll release this year, so who knows? I mean, maybe.
Well, let's see. You
Give
know,
it.
it's really interesting because I'm sorry for butting in.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no problem, no problem. No, I was gonna quote one of the people in the chat who's having a question,
Oh,
but just go ahead and we can, all in time, all in time.
well, okay. Okay, before I forget, I just want to say that right now it's really interesting because you're someone who's been known in the visual novel community as one of the fan translators, and now you're also like working professionally as a translator. So, and here I am, someone who's really new to the community and translating. So it's like it it's a nice dynamic, and we can see here like the difference in opinion and the outlook. So I just really think that's cool.
I mean, it's fine. As far as I've read of your work, because I've read the preview you have, the
Oh,
text the text you write is so similar to what I used to write like 5 years ago. So again, it's a
mm-hmm.
ladder. It's a ladder. Eventually, you'll get used to doing things in the way most other professionals do it. So it's just about. I mean, I'm gonna do the meme where you have to get good and you have to read a lot, but you know, you will get it eventually. We all get it, right? Just need to put the hours.
I I do remember. I'm gonna reference back again to the Indonesian podcast because there was this question there that they asked us. It's like, would you rather translate and that like the words that you're gonna use for the translation will be as close as possible to the original Japanese text, or will you like adjust things, basically translation versus localization, to like match the audience that's reading it? And then during that time, I answered I wanted to translate as close to the text as possible, while you answered uh you gotta change things up because now you can't really translate anything one is to one. Some Japanese phrases aren't really funny, or some phrases are, you really can't translate them into English. So it's like that really made me think, and in a way that when I'm playing visual novels right now, I'm trying to spot the English translation versus the Japanese voicing. If it's close or if it's far, or like in Aokana, I started noticing things like that. So it's like it was a good thing that you said your opinion. I really like your opinion regarding that because it gives me another perspective, or it makes me think that maybe I should adjust my writing style so that it would feel more natural, or something that would be similar to what you mentioned, like the professionals do. So I've been trying to work on that recently.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I remember what you said back then. The thing that ticked me off a little was the part where you said that transforming it into English, sometimes what publishers did was insert Western values unneededly in the text. Where I think that it is not our intention to insert Western values, but by turning the text into
Mm-hmm.
English, you're already inserting a cultural connotation into what you're writing. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
mm, will it turn out different than the Japanese? Yes, because Japanese is, as we both know, it's a very mechanical, it's a very formulaic language where it has patterns. It's very militaristic,
Yeah.
and it has rules, patterns, and you cannot deviate, right? But in English, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Both are creative languages, but I think with English you have,
Mm-hmm.
since we people who speak English in the Anglo-Saxon spheres slash Western sphere,
Mm-hmm.
they are different, and sometimes you have to make it so people from the Western spheres understand what you are reading, because
Mm-hmm.
sure, will everyone understand sometimes what senpai is? Yeah, sure, but sometimes senpai works, sometimes it doesn't. It
Mm-hmm.
really depends in the situation. Like it's not always a 1-1 either. Sometimes I keep honorifics, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I translate
Mm-hmm.
onegaishimasu as X, and sometimes I translate it as Y. So it's about,
Mm-hmm.
at least how I see it is that you need to make the reader feel what the author wants to make you feel. Because there are two
Mm-hmm.
meanings: what's written on the text and the intent behind the text, right? In a joke, for example, the joke is the easiest
Yeah.
way to describe it. If a joke in Japanese has two aspects. It has the written aspect, which is you're reading the joke, you're reading the content of the joke, and then you are reading, and then after you read the content of the joke, you laugh, right? So the intent is to make you laugh. Sometimes the joke cannot be translated into English because they're playing with
Yeah.
Japanese language, for example, which is a very
Yeah.
common
Yeah.
joke. So, well, I'm going
Yes. Yes.
I'm going into a rant here, but what I'm trying to say is that
Mm-hmm.
the translation, as we both know, it's not a one. It's not a 1-1 thing. It's not an
Yes.
exact science. We're making art, and I'm gonna sound like a meme here, but we are writers, and sometimes bias happens, and sometimes things
Yeah.
slip by. It's totally okay. I mean, why are there dozens of translations for the same Shakespeare book? Because there are translators that think
Yeah.
differently. And sure, is maybe comparing Shakespeare with a visual novel a little too out there? I'd argue yes, but my point is
Mm-hmm.
that people have different opinions in the end.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing that I've learned here in visual novels is that besides the fact that it's not really literally just translating things into English. You really got to get into the character's perspective. It's like, yeah, we are writers. I do agree with you. We are doing something that is very artistic because we have a character. We have a character here who's very brash. We have a character here who's very playful or childlike. You really gotta write the words that would match the character, uh, so that you can make them as believable as possible, as human as possible. Really, so it's it was something that I never really realized before until I started translating. I was like, man, this is really challenging me, but like I'm enjoying that challenge because it's like you're thinking like an actor. How do I say this? How do I write this? So it's a fun like, but challenging experience to get into the roles of the characters when translating.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, it's just a time dump, and the best part, I assume, is going to be for you to get skilled people around you to steer you in the right direction. Otherwise, it's gonna be, again, the improvement is very difficult because here, the way people make others improve is by flaming them. So, well, you are not very involved, right? As far as you've told me in the community. So, in fact, you are saving yourself from the pain and suffering that comes along with it. But people are not very nice when it comes
Yes.
to criticizing things, So it's better to sometimes listen and sometimes not. Just overall ignoring.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember some of your horror stories when you mentioned that people were just claiming you, and then you've been working in this community for so many years to the point that you're really numb to it and you don't really care
Oh, I
about
mean,
other people's opinion.
it's just that we all know each other at this point, right? Most of us know each other, so it just gets
Yeah.
stagnant, and you tend to ignore it. But
Mm,
what happened
yeah.
to me happened to a lot of other people. It's just the bread. We call it the pan de cada día in Spanish. So it's it's something common here. So it's like people on Twitter harassing translators for X because they translated X as something they didn't like or whatever. It's the same kind of issue we have here, but on closer communities because the communities here are tight knit. At least the active ones. There are a lot of visual fans out there. It's just that there's not a lot of people who are active. Who actively want to chat and
Yeah.
interact, or at least in public spaces. Let's just put it that way. In public spaces, there's not a lot of people. So we all know each other eventually, right? And then let me see.
I
Geeko?
mean,
No, no,
what they call this when I really first heard your story, I was like, I was scared because I told you guys I'm very new to the community, and like hearing the horror stories from you guys firsthand was like, oh man, what am I getting myself into? And then you mentioned that a lot of people are actually looking forward to the Tsutikana translation. I was like, really? I was like, yeah. I think one of your questions was if I know what I was getting myself into, and the honest answer is no. Um, I was just what happened was that I was just hanging out at the visual novel fans Facebook group, and then I saw someone who was looking for translators. Now, since I mentioned to you earlier that one of my motivations for learning Japanese is to like translate games, translate VNs, was like, okay, let me try this out. So like they got me in for the project. I think that was last year, February, March. We had more people during that time in our team. We have like a image editor. We have like maybe two or three devs. There were three translators, but as you know, since this thing is more of like a passion project to us, we're not really paid or anything. So people come and go. We have some translators come in and out, but I'm actually the only one who's a mainstay right now. So like, um, yeah, it's also a challenging thing. But my mom was actually asking me yesterday, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I'm translating a game. And then she told me, are you getting paid for that? It's already after work hours. I was like, no, I just want to translate. It's also another way for me to, expose myself to the language, learn more, challenge myself. And she was like, no, look for something like a professional translation job. I was like, I don't think I'm qualified yet for the professional level, but it's just funny because
Oh,
she
well,
was worried for me because I was spending every day, doing a bit of translation here and there after work.
look, I've seen everything at this point.
Yeah,
As long as you sell yourself short,
yeah, for sure.
there are companies that are willing to hire anyone and anything. I know. There's people who, for example, um, I handle recruitment in a translation company, and there's people who are like,
Really.
"Hello, I am a Fiverr. I work in translations on Fiverr, and I wanted to test me or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay." I test them, and it's half of the text is wrong, right? And these people charge on a daily basis for Japanese translations, right? So there's a little bit of everything out there. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. Well, no,
Mhm.
not everything, but I've seen things. I've seen people who get paid who definitely should not. But I mean, it's just like any other job, right? Some people get in for other reasons other than skill, and that's how it is.
Mm. Mm-mm,
So it
mm-mm.
really depends. I mean, again, I've been in this for. I'm not gonna say I'm like super old or anything on this, but I've been on it
Yeah.
for long enough to know that there's a little bit much of everything. The best way for you to get into
Mm.
visual novels, just grind what you're
Mm.
doing. It's a good grind. Especially because visual novels now, damn, it's super difficult if you want to be anything in the industry nowadays because most of the spots are taken and most of the visual novels are done by the same people. So you maybe have a chance. Just gotta grind it up and keep going, and eventually,
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll score something. I mean, it doesn't even need to
I'm,
be visual novels. Light novels or manga can actually be an option too. So.
yeah. I'm actually curious right now with the trend that's going on. So, for example, with Nintendo, when it comes to consoles, there's a lot of visual novels that's getting English text translations for Nintendo. They're releasing Japanese region visual novels, but
Mm-hmm.
inside the cartridge or the digital version, there's already an English text, and people are saying that some of these games have never been really translated before. So it's like, huh? I wonder what's going on. Why are they suddenly releasing more translated visual novels right now? So I was actually curious about that trend, and I'm not really sure if others from the community have noticed that.
Oh, because they sell well. I mean, and because people like even though there's a vocal minority that says that quality is king and what matters is that a high English, quality English text. Most people settle for very basic things. So either these companies, what they do is they
Mm.
hire agencies, and these agencies have people who are sometimes very skilled and sometimes not the best working on them.
Oh,
Like instead, for example, the payment for professional jobs is based on dollar cents per character translated. So I think the base standard right now is at 3 cents per character. Let's put it that way for visual novels at least. These companies, what they do is they pay
that's,
you yen per character, which is
that's
miserable.
brutal.
It's really bad, especially
That
now
is
that
brutal.
yeah, especially now that the yen is in like such a pitiful state. And yeah, I don't know. Like a game of the caliber you're working on could render you like maybe $1,000, which is pathetic, by the way. A normal professional rate should net at the very least. Let me see. At the very least $40,000 for the translation of the game you're working on, more or less. I'm making numbers in
Oh,
my head, but
man.
and that's very
Oh,
basic,
man.
basic bitch pay. I'm saying so. Higher pay would
Basic.
probably
Uh-huh.
yeah, basic bitch pays that. Then probably 50K would be the next tier, etc. Sakamut says the agency often doesn't give you the scripts well organized, etc. Yeah, exactly. It's just a fucking mess. They hire agencies that are assholes basically, but the agencies actually have a lot of power nowadays. I think Shirabune does that to some degree. They subcontract agencies, and they obviously
I
subcontract
see.
translators, but they also do it with agencies at the moment.
I, I actually thought they're like in-house translators. For example, we have a visual novel development team here, and then they have their in-house translator. So, okay, so they're looking for agencies. Okay.
Yeah, in-house is quite
Yeah.
rare, I'd argue. I
Oh.
think what Frontwing has in-house. I don't think if Frontwing has an in-house team anymore, but back when they used to have an in-house, that was everyone wanted to get into Frontwing because they paid so good. Actually, they paid so nicely.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, if the standard average was 3 cents per character, Frontwing paid 7 or something like that per character, which was crazy.
Oh, holy shit, that's a big difference.
Exactly, but because of that, the tests to get in were
That's a big difference.
insanely difficult.
I see, I see.
I
I was
think.
just
Let me see.
well, the reason why I'm under that assumption is because I was maybe I was thinking about the AAA companies, or well, not
Oh,
really the visual novel companies, AAA game companies. I was like, okay, I
well,
need to scale down my expectations because we're talking about a more niche community.
yeah. I mean, look, AAA companies, of course, they have their own in-house because they are rich and can do whatever they want. But for visual novel companies, yeah,
Mm,
that's how it more or less works. Like the agencies,
mm,
you know, and then they hire freelancers like me or other people. I don't know. It depends really on the company.
I see.
Uh,
Freelancer. Hmm.
Actually, speaking of, I haven't asked you.
Since,
What is your favorite translation?
oh,
Now that we're on the topic, what is
my favorite what? I'm sorry.
your favorite visual novel translated game? Mine is Karano Shoujo, for example. I think that translation is definitely up there, one of the best I've read. Maybe with
Oh,
Grisaya.
really?
Yeah, maybe with Grisaya. I'd say those two are insanely good. I was wondering, like, you keep
I,
up with that, or would you rather read
I'm
Japanese ones?
I'm actually gonna agree with you on Versailles. I mean, that was insane. They kept everything that's funny from the Japanese and they made it. They translated it or like they changed it so well. They localized it so well into English, and it's still funny. I don't know how they did it. They got the main protagonist dry with humor. They got all of the quirks of the heroines. It was amazing. I was like, damn. But another favorite would have to be um, Umineko. I mean, that's another insane visual novel that's very long. So many technical bullshit with the magic and the science and the logic. I'm like, how did you even translate something as big as this? I mean, the intense parts are really intense. The funny parts are really funny. So I guess those are my top two.
Mm,
Umineko and
Not bad choices. I mean, I actually haven't read Mineko, funny enough. I'll probably need to do that at some point. But
really.
yeah, I've only heard good things about it. But yeah, no, Grisaya is. I think it's universally accepted that Grisaya is definitely one of the best out there. Along with, let's see,
Mm,
Sainota. Sainota is very good.
I
Anything
haven't
done by that translator,
read it,
basically.
but I'm scared to read Sayonota. I've recently just read what do you call this? I forgot this game. Narciso, and people are like, "Oh my god, Narciso!" It's like, man, it has a lot of feels, but it
The,
was nice and short.
the game about depression. Yeah, no, if you don't actually feel like reading Sainota, Muramasa has been done by the same translator, which is Makoto. That guy is,
But that's another intense visual novel, right?
uh, well, then
That's another intense one.
you have two choices then. Makoto is supposedly the best visual novel translator to ever exist. So
Oh
he
man.
has the best output as far as we know. Then Koestio is also another guy that does really nice translations. He's the guy who did Grisaya, for example, to give an idea. Sona Neo,
Oh man.
I think he also did Sona Neo. Now that I think about it, but yeah.
Insane. Insane.
So
Those are like goals there.
exactly, those are. I mean, those should be the objectives you should be aiming for. But I think those two are exceptions to like massive exceptions to the rule. So
Yeah, they're really good.
TLDR, just be
But
good.
it's nice to have like role models. I mentioned I just finish Narciso. Um, on Steam, the Narcissus version on Steam had two translations. One was closer to the original Japanese text, and the other one was, the more localized one. So I tried comparing the two, and finally I like understood what you were referring to. That the more localized one was more smooth to read as someone who's reading in English. I was like, it was it was really nice to pick out those things and observe the works of other translators.
Yeah, exactly. You need to get used to the idea, basically. Actually,
Hmm.
now that I think about it, a very other good translation that I read recently, and by recently I mean last year at some point, it was Mavlov.
Mm,
Mavlov is super good. Definitely one of the best I've read. So
really?
yeah, yeah, no, no, that is
Oh.
an absolute masterpiece. Plus the guy who worked on it, who is called Evan, he works now on books.
Uh huh.
He doesn't work on Vision Novels anymore. He works
Uh
on
huh.
books, and he's so
Oh.
nice. That guy is one of the best for sure. So by all means,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, he was super nice. So,
Amazing.
but by all means, if you want to check good
I would.
stuff, then by all means check Evan's work. Evan's work is really nice.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
Actually, another question I had at some point I was gonna ask anyways.
Sure.
Have you actually read any other Toneworks games, or is this your first Toneworks game ever? Period.
This is my first. I didn't know that the studio was actually popular. That their works were beloved by a lot of people. But when I started translating Tsukikana, I was like, oh, I get it. Because I was really hooked right away. I was like, I was enjoying. Some people would say that, yeah, translating is a chore, but I was really enjoying because I felt like, besides being a translator, I still felt like a reader who's discovering and meeting the characters, feeling what the protagonist feels. I was like, okay, so that's why people were looking forward to this visual novel. I really do get it, and I wanna try some of their other works. I mean, I wanna try reading them,
Okay.
just to compare and get a more, what do you call this? Get a feel um of what their like style is when it comes to visual novel.
I mean, it is argued that Tsukikana is the outlier of Toneworks, so yeah. I mean, if you want to check more
Really?
classic, yeah, yeah. Tsukikana has the funny supernatural elements that, as far as I understand, I only read half of the game more or less,
Mm-hmm.
but it has the funny
Mm-mm.
supernatural elements, and it definitely has way more drama than your classic Toneworks experience for sure.
We were Java.
Yeah. In fact, there was this drama in both Japan and some English speaking circles where some of the heroines are not virgins,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that actually riled a lot of people up because Toneworks is known for having virgin only
What?
heroines. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a thing.
Oh my! People are getting mad if the characters are not virgins.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you would be surprised.
I get it, but no,
Oh,
but I get it. It's like the idol culture. I mean, people get riled up when their favorite idol and whatever say you voice actresses are not virgins anymore. I do get it though, because Japan has this. They're portraying female characters, celebrities, and whatnot to be this pure, pure, untainted characters or individuals. But just hearing that people are really, really getting riled up just because of that is, I don't know. It's hilarious for me.
no, no. I mean, I think the main reason was because Toneworks is used to like you always, when you enter a Toneworks game, you know what to expect right from the beginning. And since this one is different, people were not expecting certain characters to be certain ways. I mean, I'm not justifying it because I think it's
Mm.
really retarded, but I can maybe understand why some people
Yeah.
would be mad. I guess because they didn't get the experience they
Yeah.
were promised by the brand. But again,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-mm.
so okay, what's your
I
favorite girl then? What's your favorite Tsukikana girl?
Well, obviously. Wait. Before I forget, I can't really speak for Tony Works, but maybe this is their way of like, hey, let's try something new because maybe having these pure girl characters are getting too tiresome. Let's mix things up, add in a bit of fantasy and stuff. So yeah. And for your question, a favorite girl would Toka. I guess it's still Toka. I like her. I like her energy, and I like the fact that she's really mischievous.
Oh, the girl with
Uguisu is
oh,
also nice.
Toka is the
The
girl
two
with
of them, I
dimensions, right?
guess.
If I remember correctly. Let me see. Oh yeah, this is
That one.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's her. Yeah, yeah. She's really funny. I mean,
This is
she's crazy, but yeah, she's funny.
the tragic character.
Yeah, the two of them. There, the two of them. I like the two of them. Oh man, the next character, Sarah. I didn't know that it was so hard to translate little girls.
Is it now why? Why exactly?
No, I mean, because I was cringing.
Oh, it makes
I
it.
mean,
Oh,
the
the visual
character is
novel
a
early
little kid.
translator. I see.
The character's acting like a little kid, trying to act all smart and maybe sometimes fumbling when she speaks. And I'm like, ooh, 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 I can't, I'm cringing, but like, I gotta do this. I gotta. Ooh. Eventually, I would need to, try out different, translating different characters. And yeah, kids are part of that, of the story. So
Oh, you sweet
it's
summer
challenging
child.
for me.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
Right? I told you I'm very new, but yeah.
Yeah, no, no, I can tell, I can tell. You'll get used to it. There are a lot of little character, little emoto type girls
Oh,
in the games.
what type of character is the most challenging for you to translate?
Um, Either the Chuni character, the characters that are Chuni, and those are really annoying to work with,
Oh yeah,
or the ones that make
yeah.
constant kanji pan jokes, basically. The ones that,
Oh my God,
yeah,
that sounds like a nightmare.
yeah. I've been reading recently, Tsuki ni Yoriso Otome no Saho, and that game is,
Mm,
it's special. Like, part of me thinks that it's impossible to convey the jokes. You would have to rewrite the game. It's kind of that making me feel that already irks me about translating certain characters. Because I was thinking, how would I do X or Y character? Impossible. There's just no way. Sometimes you just need to either rewrite or provide
yeah.
translation notes, right? And as we all know, translation notes in our environment are equal to evil, even though recently I've learned that it's, there should be moderation in that regard, but whatever.
Translation notes.
So Tuni,
Man, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I understand, but there are just but it takes up a lot of space. It's an eyesore, but yeah, I do get it. Yeah, yeah,
so Dicey Ray, how for example,
that's a good point.
have you read Dicey Rai?
I'm sorry.
Have you read the visual novel Dicey Rai, for example?
No, I want to read it, man. I really want to read it. A lot of people are saying I should read it. I'm like, oh wait, wait, it's in there. I'm gonna play it. I'm like,
It's Dicey Ray is a
I
very
just need to make it work.
it's hit or miss.
Hmm.
It's hit or miss basically. You either like it or you don't. However, Reinhardt,
Hmm.
Reinhardt is one of the main antagonists of the series. That guy must have been a pain
Hmm.
in the ass to work with, just like his companion. So
Oh shit, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just give it a try one day. It's at the very least you'll get an idea
Yeah.
of what, because Dicey Ray is a hard visual novel for sure. So by all means,
Maybe I should bump that up on my list because I, I what do you call this? I bought a Steam Deck just so that I can play more visual novels on the go, and I'm gonna try and see if that's something that I could play on the Steam Deck. Is it a long visual novel?
it's long. Yeah, it's quite long. Uh,
100 hours?
no, I'd say around the 80 mark, 80-hour mark, something like that.
Yeah, like Visaya. Okay,
Yeah, just look out for,
gotcha.
if you're gonna look out for characters to learn how Japanese is translated in them.
You
Reinhardt
said the
and
antagonist, right?
Mercurius. Yeah,
Hmm.
Reinhardt and Mercurius. Those are the two ones that at least the most complex characters in my
I
opinion.
will be on the lookout for that. That is interesting. See, besides what they call this, besides the translating, we're going into character studies.
Yeah, I mean, you need to
We're
get
trying to
used
ask
to
Sarah first. Yeah.
different kinds of things, right? I mean, look, in Tsukikana, it's not like you're gonna encounter anything
These are the things
insanely
that,
tuny or anything, but it could be.
yeah. But these are the things that people from the outside who are just reading, consuming,
I mean,
they will never really realize these aspects, the technicalities
yeah, but
of these parts of translating. Yeah.
understand that you are not working for others, you're working for yourself, right? So do something that pleases you, no, and then think about pleasing the reader, right? First your
That's
own
a good
standards.
mindset.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
first your own standards,
Mm,
and then apply your standards, thinking of the readers. But then again,
mm,
no offense, but people who read
mm.
these visual novels, most of the times, they get the jokes, they get the funnies. It's okay. It's okay if they don't delve deeper because that's not their job. That's our job, right? So just as long as you understand that, I think you'll be fine.
Mm.
Let me see. Let me close this real
Gotcha.
quick. Perfect. Well, I mean, actually, this ties into one of the probably the last questions I'll make, and then we can continue
Mm.
as before,
Go
which
ahead.
is if you would work on any game of your choosing, leaving your current
Mm-mm.
obligations aside, what game would you choose? What visual
Mm-mm.
novel would you like to work on someday, if you could?
Visual novel that I would work on someday. But, well, it's the first thing that two studios that come to mind would definitely be uh seventh seventh expansion works or Type Moon. They're very basic answers, but those two franchises are some of my favorites. And but man, I can't imagine translating a seventh expansion work because Ryukishi writes insane stuff. I can't even begin to comprehend how to translate something like that. It's something that borders on psychological horror, psychological drama, and then you have this insane scientific and fantastic elements mixed in. So, but I think that's going to be so fun to do. And Typhoon, of course, because I'm a slave to Typhoon. So,
Uh, the
there.
the type moon memes. I mean, the thing is, what you are choosing, there are so many translators and other fan translation groups that are willing to. The moment the game is announced and released, they will announce a project right immediately after. So it's a very cutthroat.
Amazing,
Yeah,
really.
what you're getting into is cutthroat, basically. I personally, I
Gotcha.
find it
But
better to not compete with others, but we all have dreams, so go for it. I mean, you're already doing popular stuff, so if it comes out and it comes out nicely, for sure you'll gain enough notoriety to at the very least give you some
Mm-mm.
street cred with the rest of the people who are active to do other
Yeah,
things.
but I also have a soft spot for the indies. I mean, any good indies out there. I mean, I don't really mind. For now, I just really want to get my footing in the industry and see if I can, work professionally eventually one day.
Sure, I mean, again, just it's the good grind and
Grind.
the
The
grind.
never-ending grind. Yeah.
Yeah, and expect the flame at some point because it'll come. Just I expect to just
Mm,
be sure to manage it well and take what needs to be taken and learn from that,
mm.
and that's pretty much it. And there's no other way to put it. We all go through it, so
Yeah.
it's part of the funny process.
Mm, mm, mm.
Well, apart from that,
I think we.
hmm?
Yeah, I have a question for you, actually.
Are you telling me?
I think we talked about this briefly during the Indonesian podcast, and I was like, you did mention that when it comes to Japanese, you already attained your JLPTN 1, the highest grade for the Japanese language prior to translating. Um, so, like, were you already interested into going to the path of translation when you were first studying Japanese, or it just happened that way that Oh, since I know Japanese, might as well translate.
Oh no, I learned Japanese exclusively to translate the games, the trilogy of games I'm working on initially. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's insane. And how long did it take you for? Because for sure you're starting from scratch to
yeah, yeah.
eventually get to. Mm.
I started with self studying. I started self studying when I was like what, 15 or something like that,
Mm.
for 6 months.
Mm-mm.
I used the Taikin guide. I think most of the people use that at some point.
That Taikim. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Mm-mm. Yeah.
after that, I started classes in this random academy in the middle of Madrid. Apart from that,
Mm-mm.
I stayed there for a year. I didn't like it, uh, and I stayed self-studying slash hopping into other academies here and there, while I tried to
Mm.
painlessly translate. I think I was losing my time back then, but I tried to translate things like 6 months into my learning, which was a mistake, but whatever. I mean, you learn as you
Oh
go,
wow.
and yeah, I got a lot of shit for it because I tried. I remember I tried line novels first as a practice, and it definitely wasn't the best choice I should have made. Then I
Mm-mm.
tried helping in the Fortune Arterial translation. It's August. It's an August game, just like Ayoku Neustia. It's the same company. Um, I tried helping in that. My
Mm.
translation was, I'll put it nicely, it was bad. It wasn't very good. So I dropped that project, and then I think it took around 6 years for me. Yeah, at least it took 6 years for me to get the N1 certificate, and to get good at
6 years.
translating, I'd say 8.
Mm.
So I think I started producing good
So
stuff
that's
2 or 3 years ago, to give you an
mm.
idea. So
Wow. I mean, for my end, what do you call this? I first started studying Japanese the same age as you, maybe around 14, and then I've been trying to fool myself for the years after that I could self-study. And then come I think that was 2019 wherein I realized that I I really don't have the discipline to self-study on my own. So that is when I enrolled myself into a Japanese learning a local Japanese learning institute here, and I was taking classes during the weekends when I'm off from work. So formally studying, maybe it's 2019 up until last year. Uh, right now, I'm what do you call this? I'm trying to aim for N2. It's been challenging because the difficulty gap
it's huge.
is
Yeah, it's
huge
huge.
from N3. I was like, okay, but luckily I passed the N3 last December, and I'm studying right now for N2. So I still have a lot of way to go because for sure for professional translation work companies will be looking for those people who are N1 level.
You'd be surprised. No, I think N2 is the with N2 you would be okay. Most companies ask N2, as far as I'm aware.
I, I did hear people that you don't really need to reach the N1 because
Mm-hmm.
some of the things in N1 aren't really as used. I mean, N2 is a good target.
It's not like N1 is a super difficult exam either. You just need to grind. The difficult
Mm,
ones are if they ask for Kanken, for example. Kanken is
mm,
hell on earth. That shit is impossible. Like straight up. At least the higher levels of Kanken.
mm.
Lower levels is another story altogether. But higher levels of Kanken are pain and suffering. So I mean, as long as you have N2, you will be fine. That's my
Mm-hmm.
recommendation. And even then,
And
most companies
I really should.
most companies are gonna
Mm,
give you a test, right? So I mean, even if you
mm.
don't have the title, I mean, I have it, right? But back then, when I started, I didn't. I made a test and I passed, and they allowed me to work in, without a
Oh
certificate.
wow,
So
really?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So as
So
long
as
as you
long
have
as you have the know-how and the skills.
exactly, as
I
long as you
see.
know what you're doing, at least a lot of companies will be okay offering you a position. But it depends, right? Depends.
That's amazing because not really everyone is the type who does well in like what do you call this? The formal exams, but if you know when it comes to knowledge of the language, some people just really have it. That's amazing.
Well, nah, it's just again, it's just the grind, just the grind.
Mm.
Let's
The
put it this
grind,
way.
yeah. I, I do believe in the process of the grind, and yeah, I'll trust you on that. Since you're one of the few people that I've met here in the community, and so far you've been giving really good advice. So thank you for that.
Well, you definitely overvalue my advice. I just gave general pointers. Well, apart from that, I'm gonna say that it's 2:30 near where I am, and it's getting a little late. So I'm gonna cut the live here, and it's
Mm.
been a pleasure to talk with you. By the way, in this podcast slash conversation slash whatever the hell.
No,
Uh,
thank you for having me.
and let's do this again another day for sure.
All right,
Okay,
looking forward to that.
let me see. As a last pointer, I mean, read Sakamoto's comments. I think it was in the advertising for Tsukikana that she was not a virgin, so if you paid attention, you'd know. Really now? I mean, maybe it's just people that were expecting things from the brand, right? So it's just more than anything. That's why people got mad because
Yeah,
they wouldn't expect them to even advertise non-virginity in the first place. Let me see.
yeah, yeah.
Be like, how can I write high register English with these sudden hands? True though, true. TL notes can be implemented in an in-game pop-up and kind of work a bit better there. Yes, but they're cringe. Come on, man. We all know this. They're absolute cringe. To me, I've been taught all my life that they are cringe and they only express bad translations and and laziness. So how can I see it otherwise? Because in anime it works, sure, but in visual novels, I don't know. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
I've been taught that by the people who forced me to the translator I am now. So it's not the absolute
Oh,
truth either way. Well, okay. Now that I've answered Sakamoto's questions slash comments or whatever, I'm gonna stop it now. See you later, guys, and thank you for watching.
thank you.